Greetings and salutations, one and all. Welcome to the end of another night shift week. How you doing? It's Real Talk Wednesday, also known as Marlon's favorite night shift show.
With your partner, hold on, and let me jump up together. Hold on, and take a wine on your partner. Hold on. So take a wine with your partner. So take a wine with your partner. Hold on, and let me jump up together. Hold on, and take a wine on your partner. Hold on. So take a wine on your partner. Hold on, and let me jump up together. Hold on, and take a wine with your partner. Hold on. It's wrong. I can't help the way I feel.
Kicking it off tonight with Ricardo Drew.
You know what's the deal? Do you want my love?
It's called Holding On.
Some say this is fake. I know this is real. 'Cause you take me higher than I've been before. With you I can fly. You give me the wings to soar. Yeah. So let's jump up together. Let's wind up together. We love one forever. You're all that I need. Even my carnival day. Put our love on display. Them other people jealous anyway. So I'm holding on to love. I'm never letting go. We don't have to rush. We can take it slow. And baby, I don't mind spending carnival with you. Only I need you. Winding down the road. And baby, just stay with me. Down the road, I'll never let you go. Keep walking. I need just me and you tonight. Me and you tonight. With your lover. Spend some time with your lover. There's only one thing that you should know. So shine a light on me, baby. So I come alive. And we'll parade and break away. Let's celebrate life. Yeah, 'cause you take me higher than I've been before. With you I can fly. Yeah. You give me the wings to soar. So let's jump up together. Let's wind up together. We love one forever. You're all that I need. Even on carnival day. Put our love on display. Them other people jealous anyway. So I'm holding on to love. I'm never letting go. We don't have to rush. We can take it slow. Baby, I don't mind spending carnival with you. Only I need you.
The sound of Ricardo Drew, he says Holding On. That's the title of the track.
I'll never let you go.
What are you holding on to?
Hey, let's celebrate life. Yeah.
I want to say thank you to my segment sponsor, Pulse Media Group. When being in the moment is priceless,
Higher than I've
they provide innovative streaming and recording solutions for you.
yeah.
Give them a call, 754-999-6020, or check them out online, pulsecmg.com.
Together,
You won't get to connect to them right now,
you're all that I need.
as there are some updates being done to the server,
On display, them other people just
but they'll be back.
so I'm holding on to love. I'm never letting go. We don't have to rush. We
I
can
want to say thank you to the affiliates.
baby, I don't mind spending carnival with you. Only
Special big ups to NIE Radio up there in New Jersey.
stay with me.
Big ups to those listening live on TuneIn Radio
Just me and you tonight.
on the night shift to DJ Kevin Stew.
Sometime with your lover. There's only
I
one
want to say big ups to those who are locked in on Facebook Live.
thing to love. I'm never
Yeah, tonight I'll be staying with you on Facebook Live.
we can take it slow. And baby, I don't mind spending.
Yeah, KevinStew.com is still down.
I need you. Winding down the road. And baby, just stay
It will be back soon and very soon.
far. Let you go. Keep walking. Behind me, trust me and you tonight. Me and you tonight. Wine with your lover. Spend some time with your lover. There's only one thing that you should know. So take a wine with your partner. Hold on. And let me jump up together. Hold on. And take a wine with your partner. Hold on. So take a wine with your partner. Hold on. And let me jump up together. Hold on.
Invite you to take a wine with your partner. Let's go on, jump up together. All the way can jump up. All the way. What is your relationship structure like?
Me and you tonight.
How much people you have jumping up with you?
Spend some time with your lover. There's only one thing that you should know.
I know some people raising their eyebrows going, what? What? Say what? What do you mean? Hey Francine, good evening to you. So, tonight's topic is relationship structures. And I thought we'd do something a little bit light. This week we've been pretty heavy with our topics. You know, last night turned out to be a pretty heavy night, looking at how fast food affects our health immunity and also could contribute to our demise as it relates to COVID-19 and even other illnesses, you know, leading to things like diabetes and heart disease. You know, so that turned out kind of heavy. And then we kicked off the week talking with people about people from Dignity Power who are advocates for Diamond's Ford and also her fiance Anthony Gant, who are being charged for attempted murder of a police officer when they executed a search warrant on their premises. There was no knocking, they just broke in and Diamonds fired shots at where they were breaking in from. So that also was pretty heavy. Those of you who follow me all the time, you know you can go to the video archive on YouTube, The Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew. You can check out the podcast, The Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew, just about everywhere. It's hosted on Anchor.fm, which then is shared out to iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, TuneIn Podcast, Amazon Music and Audible, Spotify, and a few other places. I'm sure I'm leaving some out, but if you Google The Night Shift to DJ Kevin Stew podcast, you'll find it on all platforms that it's available. So you search for it on whichever search engine you use, Yahoo, Google, whichever. So go ahead and you can find the podcasts there, and of course, the video archive on YouTube, The Night Shift to DJ Kevin Stew everywhere. All right. So tonight it's where we close off the night shift week, and we do it with what we call healthy love. So inviting you all to call a friend, tell a friend, call an enemy, friends of your friends, friends of your enemies, enemies of your friends, call everybody, tell them the night shift is on, share with them, and let's connect. Yeah? Let's share with each other also. 773-789-STEW gets you in touch. 773-789-7839. You can call, you can text, you can WhatsApp, you can Telegram. I'll get you in touch with me. If you're overseas and those things won't work for you, you can always Skype. Kevin.stew is a Skype handle. And I think in the future, I'm probably going to put a link to a meeting room where you can jump in with video if you so desire and you want to participate in the broadcast. I'm going to do that in the future. It's something that came to mind tonight. But I'm going to be looking into it a little bit. So, looking at relationship structures, according to betterbeingmainline.com, there's a structure of a healthy relationship. And they say a healthy relationship is a loving relationship. Love is a deep and vital emotion that satisfies certain needs. It satisfies certain needs, coupled with caring for and acceptance of the loved one or the beloved, and resulting in an intimate relationship. When the word love is used as in this context for this particular article tonight, think of romantic love. Often, love is looked at as, according to this writer, they look at love as, and this is Elvan Karma Kurtz. And they look at love as, or the relationship as a house. If you're in a relationship, you have a house. It may be different from other people's houses, but it's your house, it's your home. In this analogy, love is seen as the building material. This love may be concrete, it may be wood, it may be brick and stone. Depending on which building material you will use, you will build and live in a different house. However, no matter how you structured your home, there's one common base that all houses are built on. Not just love, but self-love. Without self-love, your house is more likely to collapse regardless of the building material that you're using. So, self-love is a big part of the relationship house that you're building. High self-love enhances a person's capacity to love others. It means when you love yourself and have an ability to tolerate your imperfections, you will be more likely to love other people and tolerate their imperfections. But here's what I am adding to this now. You have to really take time out to get to know yourself in order to get to love yourself. So you need to spend some time with yourself. It is important. Don't just get up and say, you know what, I have self-love and I'm going to love some people. I'm going to shed some of that self-love all over. That's not quite how it works. Going back to the article here. Self-love should not be confused with narcissism. And I'm sure there are some people that are going, well, you know, some people love themselves too much. You know, they go overboard with it, and just stop right there. Don't mix it up with narcissism. Self-love is the ability to love and accept yourself as who you are. By recognizing your strengths and your weaknesses and being willing to work on yourself daily. Which means whatever you recognize today may change next week because you're doing some work. It may take a longer time to change. But there should be some changes going on. Because as you grow, you should be working on making yourself better. Whatever better looks like to you. People who are struggling with self-love often experience a persistent need for affection. Now note, affection does not necessarily mean love. These people are also on the alert for criticism, and once criticized, they remember it for a long time. They also miss cues from other people who are interested in them, and they start a relationship by preparing for rejection. So these are the people that go in and say, you know, I'm going to keep this suitcase, this bag, this vehicle gassed up and ready to go. Why? Because at some point in time, this is going to end. So if you're going in with the anticipation of the house falling apart, well, I guess you can only expect that the house is going to fall apart. So, Better Being Mainline says there are three main structures of healthy relationships. You have the A-frame relationship, the H-frame relationship, and the M-frame. With the A-frame, think of the letter A and how it stands up, and how the two diagonal lines support each other. If you take one of them out, the other one will collapse. The only way to create this letter A is using both diagonal lines for this reason. Is using both diagonal lines. And for this reason, in an A-frame relationship, there's a strong couple identity at the expense of individuality. often this A frame is seen in codependent relationships. Then you have your H frame. Now, with your H frame, you look at the letter H and the structure of that letter, the capital H, as we use the capital A in the A frame. With the H frame, with the letter H, there are two independent vertical lines connected with a little horizontal line. So the vertical lines can stand up without supporting each other. While there's good sense of self, there's only little connection. This H frame is seen in independent relationships. Then you have your M frame. M, imagine it, the structure of a capital letter M. A strong, well-balanced letter. It looks like the vertical lines are relying on each other for support, but at the same time can stand up by themselves. This M frame is often seen in interdependent relationships. Interdependency is what is assumed is what is assumed to be the ideal type of relationship, where our need for individuality is well balanced with our need for togetherness. And with this, the adequate sense of self is important. So, when you look at these letters, all you guys that are tuned in right now, everybody that is tuned in, the A frame, the H frame, the M frame, which of them best describes the relationship that you are in? And remember now, I want you to be honest about it. Don't just say, you know what, I'm in the M frame because I can stand by myself and I can accept the help of. Listen, take the time out, look at the type of personality that you have, examine the person that you are, apply that now to how you operate in your relationship. Look at your relationship, look at how it is structured, look at how it functions. Hey Risha, how you doing? I thought of you today. Didn't I message you? I thought of you today. Look at that. Look at yourself. Look at your relationships, and see really and truly what the structure of your relationship is. So, Karisha, you are H. Your relationship is H. Cool, got you. Anybody else want to chime in? 773-789 Stu gets you in touch. You can call, you can text, you can WhatsApp, you can Telegram. And of course, we're live on Facebook tonight, so you can comment there also. According to wellandgood.com, there's actually, they say, according to a certified sexologist, there are 9 relationship structures. Now, a little bit later on, according to Seeking Arrangement, there are several more relationship structures. So, all right, let me repeat those relationship types for you. You have your A-frame relationships, your H-frame relationships, and your M-frame. The A-frame is the one that has a lot of individuality, and it is seen in codependent relationships. Sorry, not individuality, a lot of dependency. So it's in codependent relationships. So you got the structure of the A, where they lean, the parallel lines, the vertical lines lean on each other. So it's more diagonal than vertical. So it's diagonal lines leaning on each other, holding up the letter A. Then you have your H frame. So there are independent vertical lines which are connected by a little line in the middle. That is your independent relationship, where individuals have a good sense of self and there's little connection. So those are your independent. And in your M frame is what is considered the balanced one, where there's a need for togetherness. There's some dependency, but also there's some independence. And this one is typically seen in your interdependent relationships. So which one works for you? Which one is the one that you see yourself having? Which is the one that you see yourself wanting to be in if you're not in any at the moment? And then when you identify that, I guess you're going to have to figure out how to work to get that. Because again, everybody live in a house, but not everybody's house is the same. So using relationships, you build your relationship. Your relationship, look at it as a house. Your home. This is the place you live. Your love is all over in this house. What are you using to build this house? What are you using to frame this structure? Now, there are, according to a sexologist, that, like I said earlier, 9 relationship structures. So I found that was kind of interesting, but later on, you're going to realize that there are a few more that you can toss into the mix. According to Erin Brunch, if you've ever felt pressured to conform with the rules of monogamy or casual dating, you may actually be better suited for one of the 9 different relationship structures, according to certified sexologist Shan Boodram. And to help you determine whether or not this is the case, she's devised an online relationship quiz. Now, this relationship quiz takes about 15 minutes to complete, and it helps you to better understand your own needs, beliefs, and tendencies. I think it's a great entry point to starting a conversation about dating, to say, how do you like your love? How are you interested in partnering at this time? What feels good for you? This is what Boodram says, and she's the author of The Game of Desire. The key is to let go of your expectations around the results and the reactions of another person. For example, your partner. There is no wrong response. There's no ideal response. There's only somebody's truth, and your ability to get to that truth as fast as possible before making an investment that is not logical or logically based on your compatibility or incompatibility. So, okay, Francine, you say you want an M structure. That is to say, you currently don't have a structure, but that is the one that you want if you have one. Just asking for a friend. Now, broaching the subject of relationship structures is touchy with someone new. Like the guy who says he'd like an open relationship before you even meet. And it's likely to be even more sensitive with a current partner. For example, if as a woman you know your boyfriend would not be too thrilled about your result if it is open relationship. So with them, it might be a touchy subject. But Boudram says this doesn't mean you should shy away from discussing it with that partner. We can almost put ourselves back in the shoes of when we heard of something for the first time. And the first time you heard that term, you were probably like, that's weird. And it's probably through time and exposure and conversations and asking questions that you have been able to change your perspective. So really recognize that you're giving your results to someone. That might be the first time they've heard the term, and they might come from the school of thought that everybody who loves somebody wants to be monogamous because that's the default narrative, according to Boudram. So, she assures me it's not the end of the world or a relationship if my boyfriend's first reaction is negative because it encourages dialogue. You can just say, this is an indication that we should be talking more. And I want to learn more about your values, and I want to learn more about mine, so we can continue to find ways to meet in the middle. So Boudram continues to give this bit of insight. There's a spectrum inside of each of the 9 categories. Boudram encourages people to dig more deeply into the quiz results, but also to create their own definitions, relationship structures, and also terms whenever these broader styles do not fit. For example, maybe you're not a full-on moonlighter, so much as you are an on your birthday swinger. Individuals and relationships are complicated. So labeling them is going to be kind of complicated also. It'll be quite nuanced. Boudram is keen to point out that a quick quiz is not something on which you should base major life decisions. Most likely, the results won't be shocking. But there's a possibility that it will. But they may point to something that you've been sublimating in yourself that needs to be brought to light. Whether that's in conversation with your partner, your therapist, or just yourself. And again, that self, that is important. I truly believe that it is with that self that everything starts. Whether Boudram says so or not. Whomever it is that would say otherwise. Kevin Stew believes everything that we're doing should start with self and take that time with self to work on self and then expand from there. The way, Boudram says, the way you connect and communicate deserves more than 15 minutes of research. So I hope this is an entry point, a beginning into your explanation, into your exploration. Sorry. And there's a link to take the quiz. And I can tell you guys what that link is. It is thegameofdesire.com/commitment. Let me go ahead and put that in the chat for you guys. Over here, those of you who are listening in, you might want to jump onto Facebook Live to get that link, and you can check that out. So take a look at that, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through these 9 relationship structures according to Boudram, right? But before I do that, I want to thank Pulse Media for being the sponsor for this previous segment, and to thank Althea and her Healing Heavenly Hands for sponsoring this current segment. Althea is a licensed massage therapist that comes to you with a little over 20 years of experience. She brings her tables, she takes her oils, and of course her healing heavenly hands. You can call Althea SU at 954-655-9000. That's 954-655-9000. Or you can email her at thealater@att.net. Now, again, I want to congratulate Althea on her certified personal training certificate. She's now also a personal trainer, so she can work you out and then soothe your muscles afterwards. And that, if that isn't heavenly, I don't know what is. Because, it's important that we maintain our health. Yeah? It's important that we if we're not healthy already, we get healthy. And exercise is a big part of that. All right, so going back to wellandgood.com, there are 9 relationship structures according to this site. You have first your casual dating. And this involves connecting with romantic or sexual partners without any commitment or responsibility, for as long as it is fun and it makes sense for both people involved. This may mean dating one person at a time or multiple people at a time, but either way, it is not serious. So that would be the relationship that says, hey, there's no strings attached. We're just in this for the moment to have a moment. No commitments, no responsibilities. Then you have your serial non-committed dating. This relationship structure involves partnership without promises. Now, let me pause right here. Personally, I'm not the guy that does promises. I give you my word. So, for those that use promises, serial non-committed dating, you're leaving those out of it. You may not be actively looking for a new person while dating someone else, but you're most comfortable knowing that if you do meet someone who is interested in you, you are allowed to pursue them ethically without hurting your current partner. Open and continued communication around your limitations as a partner is key. That is your serial non-committed dating. Then you have your traditional monogamy. And a traditional monogamist believes not just in partnering with one person at a time, but in partnering with one person for life. Once they've committed, they'll do whatever it takes to keep that partnership together. Now, what is interesting about the traditional monogamy is that concept of being with that one person for life. If you started out in this relationship on the wrong premise or not recognizing certain things about yourself or about your partner, you're going to be continuing this relationship for life based on what? And how exactly do you plan to navigate that? So it can get a little bit tricky when it comes to the traditional monogamist. But then you have your modern monogamist. And this one believes in being 100% committed to a partnership while that partnership lasts. This is the most prominent form of relationship structures culturally. And this would be the Western culture. Then you have being monogamish. Monogamous relationships allow for things like the strip club, the porn, and maybe even a bit of flirting, so long as experiences outside of the relationship never go beyond that, romantically or physically. So, when I look at that bit of information, I am thinking, wait, hold up. So you're monogamy-ish if you can go to the strip club, the porn, you can watch porn, you can flirt. So when you're traditionally monogamist or modern monogamist, you have to stop flirting. You can't go to the strip club if you're a monogamist, traditionally or modern. You can't watch porn. So what if you decide to watch porn with your partner? What if you decide to go to the strip club with your partner? How does that work out? Are they saying you can't do these things alone? It has to be with that partner that you've committed the rest of your life to. How exactly does that work? And if anybody wants to add to that, feel free. I'd love to hear your side. Then you have your free relationship. And a free relationship is one in which you are partnered, but are open to varying structures over time. In other words, you might be monogamist at one point, but at another, you're swinging, and yet at another, depending on what makes you and your partner happiest at another time, at any given time, it may be something else. Whatever else, I don't know, but something else. And that's what is considered to be a free relationship. Now, I guess one could. Alright, let me get through this first, and then I'll come back and we can touch on various aspects or various types. So that is your free relationship. Then you have open relationships. And an open relationship is one in which you have a primary partner, but you are allowed to have sexual and or romantic experiences outside of them. Typically, couples establish rules around their interactions outside of their primary relationship, ensuring that the main relationship remains safe, comfortable, and each partner is priority. So that is your open relationship. Then you have moonlighting or swinging. And in this, a couple is generally monogamous, but occasionally engages in sexual experiences outside of their relationship. And typically, they seek out these experiences together. So, those are your swingers. Hey, Joy, how you doing? Yep, for now, all is well. How are things on your side? How's Sam? Now, after that, you have your polyamory. And this is the 9th in the list. They said you have 9. This is the 9th. That's according to wellandgood.com. They have 9. And so they say polyamory is a relationship structure which allows for more than one romantic relationship at a time, with the full consent of all partners. This differs from dating in that there are actual committed partnerships involved. All right, so first off, I'd like to say I find these definitions of these relationship types simple at best. You know, they don't go into much detail about them. At best, they're simple overviews, simple definitions. Not even, I wouldn't even go as far as to say it's an overview. It's just a simple definition of these relationship types. And when you look at an open relationship, and you'd probably ask, so why then would I want to be in a relationship if I can do whatever I want with whomever I want? And because in this they say you are quote unquote allowed to have sexual and or romantic experiences outside of the relationship with your primary partner. And that sounds very similar to swinging and to polyamory. But what I've realized over time with doing research and speaking with people is that they're quite different in how they are in how they actually operate. And which was the one that said they had rules? Um, they polyamory, full consent of partners, a free relationship, and I think it's the free relationship, or is it the open relationship? The open relationship is the one that typically establishes rules about around their intentions outside of the primary relationship, ensuring that the main relationship remains safe, comfortable, and each partner's priority. All right, here's the thing. Thank you, Carisha. The student pays more attention than the teacher. So, the open relationship, the very same one that we were talking about, I noticed that they use the word rules versus using the word boundaries. And in doing research, what I've noticed is when you look at polyamory, when you look at swinging, these other relationship types, these they tend to use boundaries in their definition and their modus operandi, I guess you could call it. So how I look at rules versus boundaries is rules are these hard and fast are hard and fast and set in stone. So the rule is you must be at X place by Y time. And if you're not, the consequence is B. And for me, that is how rules operate. Maybe we can look into that some more. Rules versus boundaries. And we'll use this to help us move forward. Knowing the difference between rules and boundaries. A boundary, you're controlling your own body and destiny. All right, so we'll look at some of these in a little bit, but I'll give you my take on it. The rules are hard and fast, and some people find comfort in working with rules. Some people are more comfortable working boundaries. The boundaries being where you can revisit them as partners in the relationship. You revisit these boundaries as things change, because as you're growing, as you're learning things about yourselves and each other, there might be something that 5 weeks ago when you put this in place, it worked then, but then you realized that we're going to need to change this because I'm not comfortable with this. How about we make that time why and with the with notice, so it can change with notice versus saying this is the time that you have to be at X place. This time can change with notice, and we work within the parameters of the notices, and we define how those notices work, how you transmit those notices, etc., etc. So, for me, that is how the boundaries versus the rules come into play. So, let's look at this really quick. According to ideatrash.net, the difference between boundaries and rules. There was a group of people who saw this writer's boundaries as being threats. And they, as according to his distinction, it still holds. More to the point, I think this distinction holds when you're talking about the difference between boundaries and rules. Boundaries are all about power over your own decisions. Rules are about power over other people's decisions. And I think that's an even better way to look at it than my way. Sometimes boundaries can seem like rules. I'm not willing to be in a relationship with someone who lies about their sexual partners, for example, but it can be taken as a rule about someone else's behavior. But that would be wrong. A boundary like the one mentioned just now states that you're willing to do. The other person can do whatever they like. You're simply controlling your own body and destiny. Intent matters here. If you state something wanting to control another's behavior, that is a rule. If you state something about how you will conduct yourself, now that is a boundary. Rules and anything wanting to try to control another tend to fail. Boundaries, on the other hand, are something that only you control whenever they stray firm, or whether they stay, firm or not. So a rule then is about controlling other people's behaviors. So if you and I are in a relationship and we're discussing how we're going to move forward in this relationship, and we say, okay, so the rule is you are not to smile with members of the opposite sex. Now, that's a rule. And that is because the person that is saying that, the person that puts that out as a rule, has that problem with the other person, in my opinion, smiling with the opposite sex. Why? Now, for me, it gets to, why do you have this problem? And we need to talk some more. Now, when you look at a boundary, it is, I would prefer if you don't smile with the opposite sex, because this is what it does to me. Now, if you do decide that you're going to be smiling with the opposite sex, then I am going to do this. This is how it will affect me. This will be my reaction. And then, of course, you can have that same conversation about, okay, so why? And then you move from there. But for me, at all points, it encourages communication. And if you're having this relationship with someone and there's no communication in it, then there's a problem. Because at the foundation of any relationship is communication. That is how the relationship came into being. You were communicating. And apparently you liked what the other person was saying, how the other person was communicating with you. So with that, it worked. So that is some of the things that you want to consider when you're looking into adding rules versus boundaries to your relationships. It's a big deal. All right, so 8 minutes to the top of the hour. And like I said, we're doing tonight's broadcast a little bit different. I'm doing the whole information part here on Facebook Live, and then I'm going to jump off and do an extended musical therapy on TuneIn Radio, on NIE Radio. So you go to the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew on TuneIn, or you can chime in on jump over to TuneIn Radio. Of course, you can still contact me on 773-789-STEW, 773-789-7839. But let me hit you with these other structures before we get to that. So we looked at casual dating and some other parts of the nine. Let me go through the nine again so that y'all remember them. I'll start from the end and go to the first one. You have polyamory, you have swinging or moonlighting, you have open relationships, you have free relationships. And don't mix up the two, they're slightly different. You have modern monogamy, you have traditional monogamy, you have monogamish, you have non-committed dating, and you have casual dating, all with their own definition. So, Carisha, what are you saying? You're saying your relationship is open? Oh, no, no, no. Oh, sorry. That was the one. I was the definition. I was looking for the one with the rules. Thank you, Carisha. So, there are some other terms that you can look at when it comes to relationship structures. And one of them is the delta. Now, with delta, this is a type of polyamorous relationship, specifically a triad, which involves three people who are emotionally and or sexually involved with all the members of the relationship. That is your delta. Now, you also have what is called a dyad. And this is a term which describes a relationship which involves precisely two participants. Westernized countries tend to prefer the term monogamous when referring to these types of relationships. So they have monogamous dyads as their social or societal norm. It is the most common form of romantic relationships on Earth, your dyad. Now, your polyamory communities use a term to describe specific pairings within polyamorous relationships. Then you have what is considered to be the hinge. Now, this is a colloquial term which refers to the central member of a V relationship. So if you think of a V, right, the hinge is a pivotal person in the relationship. He or she is bonded to each of the other members of the V more than they are to one another. The hinge is critical to the success of the V, and it often will fall apart if the hinge decides to move or remove themselves from the relationship. So you take the hinge out of the V and you end up with two sticks. Then you have your intimate network. This one is a colloquial term which is used in polyamorous communities to describe the interconnection of the various partners within a person's polyamorous network. An intimate network is made up of a person's partners, the other members of the partner's relationships, the partners of the other members of their partner's relationships, the partners of the other members of their partner's relationships, and it goes on. Can you say the song that never ends? If you don't know the words to the song that never ends, you can go look it up. So this term is typically used to describe the variety of friendships and connections found within an open polyamorous relationship dynamic. So you have your open polyamorous, you have your closed polyamorous relationships. With the open one, it goes on and on and on and on, as it is described here. Then, personally, I don't know how many people are doing that type of the intimate network type of relationships, especially now. I don't know. Um, the gift that keeps on giving. Okay. So next you have menage a trois, and most of us are familiar with that. It's a sexual arrangement involving exactly three members. Any variation of gender and sexuality is acceptable, but it must include three members partaking in sexual activity with one another to be considered a true menage a trois. A typical example of a menage a trois is when a married couple asks someone to join in on a lovemaking session. Any grouping which involves more than three people or has members that are not engaging in direct sexual activity with all of the other members is either group sex or a gangbang. Yeah, yeah, Erica. In at certain parts, it really gets complicated, and you really need to sit with pen and paper and decide how it is that you're going to navigate your relationship or relationships, as the case may be. Now, one thing I want to point out is there's a lot of talk of polyamory in this information. One of the things I want to point out is the fact that oftentimes when they refer to polyamorous relationships, they don't just point to it as a sex based relationship. They would also say intimate. Intimacy and sex are not the same. Two individuals can have an intimate relationship and live thousands of miles apart. So they are not the same. I just want to point that out. Okay, so that is your menage a trois. Then we have the metamor. Now, your metamor, this is a term which describes a partner's other partners, or a metamor is a partner's other partner or lover. In a polyamorous relationship, a partner will simultaneously be a metamor and have multiple metamors. Typically, a metamor is the person in an open network with whom you will not share a direct sexual or loving relationship. Unlike mistresses and cheating, metamor is used when the relationship is completely transparent and open. There are no secrets. So you have three people in a relationship. Let's keep it simple. You have three people in a relationship. You have two that have been together for 5 years, and then you have a third person coming in as a partner of one of those two. So let's say they come in, it is a man coming in as a partner to the woman in a heterosexual relationship, right? So you have man and woman couple, and the woman takes on another partner. This third partner is not in a relationship with, let's call them husband and wife. This third partner is not in a relationship with the husband, but the husband is aware of the third partner, and they may or may not be friends. But this third person, the wife's second partner, ends up being that husband's metamor. So that is my understanding of how that works. In Jamaican parlance, you would say the matey. But in everywhere else, it is considered the so if you have a mistress, is the man that is a man having a secret partner being a woman. That's a mistress. So if the woman has a secret partner, what is he called? Because he's not a mistress. Does he get called a mister? And if the woman takes on a woman, I guess that would still be a mistress. But if the man takes on a man, what is he? At least there's a word given to it when it comes to the polyamorous world. There's a word given to it, and it's called a metamor. And the difference with that mistress and the metamor is that the metamor is known about. This is the person that may or may not be sitting at the table when everybody goes out to dinner. So the husband and wife goes out to dinner and they invite the metamor to join, and so the metamor is sitting across the table from the husband and wife. That is different. That's not gonna happen when you have a mistress or a secret partner. All right. So moving on, you have your open marriage. Now, a marital relationship in which the parties agree that extramarital sexual activity is permitted and not considered to be cheating or infidelity. This is defined as an open marriage. And it can be referenced by using many different terms such as polyamory and swinging. The main differences between the various types of open marriages are the number of sexual partners external of the marriage and the level of input each person within the marriage has on their spouse's activities. All right. When it comes to this particular definition, I have more questions than I am satisfied with this definition as it stands. Because they say an open marriage can be referenced using terms like polyamory and swinging. Cool, I get that. But the main difference wouldn't be the various types of open marriages, the number of sexual partners. I don't think that would be the real difference. I think the real difference would be someone who is polyamorous, and the word amory or the amorous, the prefix, the suffix amorous being multiple. So that word is really interesting because it's a Greek and a Latin word put together, polyamory. Poly being multiple and amory from amor meaning to love, so it's multiple loves. You can tell I did a little bit of research on that one, right? So swinging is a little bit different. It's just bang and go kind of a thing. Like the song said, take a slap and go on. Yeah, that is your swinging relationship. It is all about sex, not so much about intimacy. Whereas polyamory, that's different. It tends to be more intimate. It tends to be an actual relationship that is happening outside of your what is considered primary, quote unquote, primary relationship. And I say quote unquote primary because depending on how you structure your relationship, there may or may not be a hierarchy in there. So again, as I see these relationships and what I know of them, it involves a lot of communication. Typically, in your traditional monogamous relationship, there is actually less communication about how you as an individual are growing. And you would think that there would be a whole lot of communication in your monogamous relationship, your traditional monogamous relationship. The less traditional that relationship gets, the more communication it involves. Ask around, ask your friends, ask your grandparents if you have that kind of relationship with them. Ask the elders in your community. Be daring, be bold, and ask the elders in your church. If you go to a church, and see what kind of response you get. But that just might be for another broadcast in and of itself, right? So that's your open marriage. Then you have, okay, we looked at the open network already. And we looked at open relationships already also. With your primary relationships, this is in the context of polyamory. The primary, you heard me mention the primary just now. The primary is most commonly defined as the primary man or woman who someone is dating. There may be a secondary or tertiary partners who might not spend as much time or share the same level of responsibility with the primary member of the polyamorous relationship. And some circles of polyamory avoid using terms like primary, secondary, and tertiary in the belief that all partners involved in the relationship should be considered equal, although they may not be doing equal things as individuals. And I guess this is where they shy away from using the terms like primary, secondary, and tertiary now, if they get to that level. I don't know what happens after tertiary, but they move away from those terms because they look at individuals as just that, individuals, and as such should get equal levels of recognition, although the relationship in and of itself may not be, if you're going to break it down to what happens in each relationship, it may not have those same things. Then you have in this list, next you have the quads. And this is described as a 4-person polyamorous relationship. Due to the nature of how a quad is formed, each member does not necessarily have romantic or sexual involvement with every other member. Quads often form when two polyamorous couples take an interest in one another. Members of quad relationships are often confused as swingers because they appear to be in a committed relationship but are often seen with other people. It differs from swinging in the sense that the 4 members of the quad are committed to the same relationship. And I'm guessing you could look at the same thing as if you look at it as a triad, it's the same thing. All members are committed to the same relationship. So, but in the quad, you have 2 pairs of relationship, 2 pairs of individuals. They meet each other and they're interested in each other as couples. So whether it is the wife of relationship A is interested in the husband of relationship B, and relationship B's wife is interested in the husband of relationship A, or whichever combination you may find. If I am wrong, y'all can correct me. You know the number, 773-789-STEW. And I think that just about sums it up. You have your secondaries, which, like I mentioned earlier in the polyamorous community, they don't like using those, but it is a term used to describe a romantic partner who is someone other than a person's primary spouse or partner. And we get that understanding from the secondary and the tertiary. So we understand how that goes. You have soft swinging. Now, I found this one to be interesting because the custom of engaging in sexual activities with your partner in the same room as another couple is considered swinging, but not swapping or sharing partners. So it's considered to be soft swinging. When you're sharing partners or you're swapping partners, that's considered swinging. But just having sexual activities in the room with other people, that's considered soft swinging. Now, it is considered a gateway to full swinging, but you know how gateways work. As although you can pass through it, it doesn't mean that you have to or you will. It provides the opportunity for couples who are new to the swinging scene, so to speak, to become comfortable with engaging in sexual acts in front of others. And sometimes this is before they progress into partner swapping or full swinging. I know that people have gone out to have sex in public places that allow for that and not be involved with anyone else around them. It's kind of like going to a nude beach. If anyone has gone to places like hedonism in Jamaica, you know, you walking around naked, but that doesn't mean that you're inviting anyone to be sexual with you, or you're not taking that as an invitation from someone else. So that is how that works. And I am thinking that just about covers all the bases. There's an actual definition of triad here. Polyamorous relationship or union with exactly 3 people. In a true triad, all members are sexually and emotionally involved with every other member. The most common formula for a triad consists of 1 woman and 2 bisexual men, or 1 man and 2 bisexual women. That is considered a triad. Now, there's another word that goes around, or I have heard used, being a throuple, which is kind of your couple, but is 3 people. And I'm thinking this works with the V. So this is where, and I think I touched on this before. I do believe I touched on it before, but I'll touch on it again. It's the way the V works is one person is sexually and romantically involved with the other 2 partners, but they're not sexually and romantically involved with each other. So that is your V relationship. And I would go further to say, whereas it may be a committed relationship with the other 2 partners, it may not necessarily be sexual. Because again, you can be in a relationship with someone thousands of miles away, and that's not sexual. You may want it to be, but can't. And, let's look at the person that has the paralyzed partner. They still love the partner, but they also have other needs. And they agree to take on someone else in the relationship. Now, this other person coming into the relationship is not involved with the crippled or the handicapped partner in the relationship. But they also care for them. I personally see that as a kind of polyamorous relationship that works. But that's just my view. That's just my take. However you may want to look at it, that's how you look at it. But that's my take on it. So that pretty much covers it for real now on Real Talk for tonight. That closes out all the talking parts of the night shift for this week. After this, it's all about music. It's all about bouncing, relaxing, chilling. It's musical therapy. And I'm going to sign off from Facebook Live because when it comes to music and Facebook, we don't want any problems. So I just give you the talking part here on Facebook Live. Come on over to tune in. Hopefully, all being well, then kevinstew.com will be back come next week. We have our fingers crossed. We have our hands clasped in prayer that everything will work out and we'll be back to quote-unquote normal. But until then, thank you very much. Coming up this weekend, I also have the Saturday Stew on Reggae Global Radio, so you can check me out there for my music broadcast and for the Secret Ingredient, which is a much shorter talking segment, yeah? And of course, you can catch Pre-Life, Red Fox's Pre-Life, where he sheds light on some aspects of life, real life, through lyrics. So you can check that out every Saturday inside the Saturday Stew on Reggae Global Radio, happening from 8 p.m. This is where I bounce on out of Facebook Live. We're going to take a quick little break. Come on over. Once again, the Night Shift to DJ Kevin Stew on TuneIn. You want the link to TuneIn? Well, once you go to TuneIn, the TuneIn radio app, all you need to do is search The Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew. Let me see if I can pull it up here and share it with you really quickly. TuneIn radio. You're giving me work here, lady. The Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew. I type pretty well. Let me see if I can put the link right there. Boom. I found it. There you go. There's a link for TuneIn. Those of you who are tuned in to Facebook Live, you can go to the Night Shift to DJ Kevin Stew right there and listen live. All right? Cool. So, I'm going to bounce on off of Facebook Live. Thank you, each and every one. Thank you out there for sponsoring this segment. Ooh, and actually, I want to big up Reggae Global Entertainment, who this third segment was a sponsor for. Reggae Global will act as your booking agents, handle your tour management, take care of your publishing, your trademarks, your business registration, service, legal service referrals, music production, marketing and promotion, and so much more. Give them a call, 954-998-8034. That's 954-998-8034. Check them out online at reggaeglobalentertainment.com. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, it's musical therapy.
Pulsey Media Group, innovative streaming and recording, has done it again. A new way to get your business in full view of your neighborhood consumer through AdShare TV. It's available in your neighborhood today. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. Become a host today and place a TV monitor in a strategic location so it's easy to see. Get a 1-minute video ad or longer that plays anywhere in our network. Can't be a host? No problem. For a few dollars, we'll run your 30-second video ad. A host can run announcement specials like buy one get one free or discount ads. Let's turn your flyers into a 30-second video with music or a voiceover, or let us create and run your video ad with a spokesperson. Take advantage of our early enrollment discount. Join us today. Your ad will be seen at least 30 times per day in your AdShare TV neighborhood. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. AdShare TV, part of Pulsey Media Group.
It takes an entire village to raise a child. Hello, I'm Paul Campbell, here to talk about Palace. Peace and Love Academic Scholarship. This non-profit group supports students facing serious obstacles from entering or continuing their studies, not because the grades are failing, but due to the lack of financial support.
Over the past 8 years, Palace has awarded 600 scholarships valued at approximately 50.3 million Jamaican dollars, or 415,000 US dollars.
Together, we must build a better future for our children. please visit www.palace1.org and make your donation to brighten the future of a deserving child. Palace, preserving young minds for posterity.
It's Christina representing for DJ Kevin. You see me, I say, I don't know the boss. You see me, I say, DJ Kevin's Chew and the night shift radio show. Yo, it at the thing, turn up the thing loud. Whoa, DJ Kevin's Chew have the heart of a champion. Never underestimate, just choose him. The silver line behind the dark clouds. DJ Kevin's Chew, believe him, and that's no doubt. Salute the night shift radio show, Christina. It's a heart to top. Loud.
Tell me,
Silent.
tell me. Thinking of you, that's all I seem to do. When you're not here, I long to hold you near. Maybe this time, together we must bear. Holding you close, taking time to let you know. Tonight's the night we will share. Turn off the lights, come close to me. Tell me I'm all you ever need. Tell me it's not just a dream. And if it is, my heart believes that you are mine, and this is real.
The sound of D Wisdom. You know that lady that did the first, my first real love. Her rendition of Kissing You. Now, I have another arrangement of the same track, and I may play it a little bit later on from a good brethren, G Mac. But before I get to that, this is Glenn Washington. Track called Bring Your Love On In.
When we feel it's too much pressure, just bring your love on in.
Bring it in, bring it in, bring it in.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I know I've never been this way before. I can't believe I find myself wanting for more. And even though we are rigid from different worlds, I can't control this thing I feel. I want you for my girl. visualize myself with 2 kids and wife. Heaven must have sent you here. You mean the world to me. You got the kind of love I need to set my spirit free. 'Cause when we feel it's too much pressure, just bring it up on in. Oh yeah, oh yeah. When we feel it's bubbling over, bring it up on in. Just do it, baby. Just do it, baby. Don't ever let the feelings of mistrust hold you down. Just let me get inside, my love. We'll always be around. Girl, you know I love you down to the very ground. Got no time for someone else. This love is stable and sound. And every woman that I see got something new for me. There is no other to compare. You are my destiny. Take a look into yourself and tell me what you see. You'll see a place of perfect bliss reserved for you and me. But when we feel it's too much pressure, just bring your love on in. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Yes, when we feel it's bubbling over, just bring your love on in. Do it, baby, baby, baby. My baby, baby.
This is that other arrangement I told you about. This is G-Mac.
Thinking of you, that's all I seem to do. When you're not here, I long to hold you near. Baby, this time together we must spend. Holding you close, taking time to let you know. Tonight's the night we will share. Turn off the lights, come close to me. Tell me I'm all you ever need. Tell me it's not just a dream. And if it is, my heart believes that you are mine, and this is real. Loving you all through the night.
Share my love
It will be alright.
together, kissing you.
Loving you all through the night.
Share my love.
It will be alright, yeah. What's better than a love that's made for two? I cannot count the ways I feel for you, but you should know, and starting from today, from this point on, my love is here to stay. Lie close to me, hold on. Let's make love all night long. Baby, I'm yours, take all of me. I never try to bring you down. My love will always be around. Yes, I'm convinced you're all I need.
Kissing you.
Loving you all through the
I want to take this moment to say thank you to GMAT Music Solutions for sponsoring this segment of the broadcast.
It's all night.
This is our musical therapy segment.
Kissing you.
GMAT Music Solution brings your event to life, providing sound, light, and stage production services, musical equipment, PA systems, audio engineers, DJs, bands, musicians, singers.
Kissing you.
Give them a call, 754-307-GMAC. That's 754-307-4622.
It's all night.
Or check them out online, gmatmusicsolutions.com.
We'll share.
You can also do your online shopping there.
Me,
Pretty cool.
I'm all you ever need. Tell me it's not just a dream. And if it is, my heart believes that you are mine, and this is real.
providing supporting vocals. Shauna Dazzle,
Baby,
the dazzling one.
My love.
we can do this.
Together. Missing you.
You've got me in the mood.
My love.
Let's share our love.
This is Tanya Asaki. Check her rendition of Baby Come to Me.
Shining on my bed, beside my pillow, like a pathway to bring them near to me. Something tells me my words are going straight to your heart. And something tells me you will be all my baby, come to me. 'Cause I love you, I'm thinking of you. Oh, baby, come to me. Gotta have you. You got me going on. You're turning me on. Baby, come to me. I know the secret, how to make you want me, how to make you love me. Oh, yeah. And the moon above is a friend of mine. She'll make it burn. Something tells me my words are going straight to your spine. Oh, something tells me you will be all my baby, come to me. 'Cause I love you, thinking of you. Oh, baby, come to me. I gotta have you, yeah. You got me going on. You're turning me on. Baby, come to me.
First time she blessed my hands, cleaner than clean, got the wicked of the knee. Remember nothing when she dreamy, pretty fresh game, she intrigued me too. First time
This is the sound of Mason the Emperor.
cleaner than eyes got me glued to this.
Track called Lover's Rock.
Knowing my thing, just like the one came from shaking. At first sight was love, real true love, mutual love. She lay back in her arms, she closed her eyes and started laughing away. She said she loved the Lover's Rock, yeah. Ooh, cool and easy like a summer breeze. Said she loved the Lover's Rock, yeah. Ooh, kind of love to keep her mind at ease. Said she can't take the book without her. Said she wants a real man to love forever. Said she loved the Lover's Rock, yeah. Yeah. I know every man cannot try. A special kind of love, ain't no one above. Natural beauty, one of a kind. So divine that she's all mine. So I make sure every day she take me still with love. I give thanks and praise to the one above. Say I'm me, I'm the only man where she love. Can the spirit feel so secure? At first sight was love, real true love, mutual love. She lay back in her arms, closed her eyes and started back away. She said she loved the Lover's Rock, yeah. Ooh, cool and easy like the summer. Said she loved the Lover's Rock, yeah. Ooh, kind of love to keep her mind at ease. Said she can't take the group forever. Said she wants a real man to love forever. She loved the Lover's Rock, yeah. Yeah.
Kelly.
Add a little candlelight and the scent of your sweet perfume.
His new hit single
Focus, focus.
called Magic.
Little dress that I like. Don't lose focus of what I'm about to show you tonight. I can do magic. Whoa, one snap of a finger, girl. I'll perform a trick on you. Anything you
Sally performed live
can do magic.
this past weekend in Riviera Beach.
Within the lights, I perform
Yeah, those things are happening again.
baby, 'cause I can do
It was magical.
magic. I ain't no psychic, but I know just what you need, girl. You don't have to write it. Just looking at your body, I can't read. Yeah, you're giving me the eye, and it's making me want you back, girl. Turn around and guess what's in my hand? One snap of a finger, girl. I'll perform a trick on you. Anything you want me to do, yeah. Magic, all you gotta do is in the light. Baby, I can do magic. I'll make your home disappear. Out of nowhere, there's a room will appear. It's in your nose, you and me. Baby girl, still leave. See what I'm about to do. She's come through. All right. My hand, there goes your toe. This is something you should know. One snap of a finger, girl. I'll perform a trick on you. Anything you want me to do, yeah. Magic. All you gotta do is in the light, baby. I can do magic. Just call me Houdini or David Copperfield. I'll be your genie, baby girl, you know the deal.
Late last night, she called me on the phone, asking would I be coming home. She's feeling all alone.
This is the sound of Kirk Davis. You may know him as Little Kirk.
Whistling to could I be? She needs a company.
This one is called That's the Way Love Goes.
But I was lying in that girl's arms. Selfish of me, she never blows my phone. See love on the side, and I could never tell you where I've been, because I know it hurts to be with rain. Oh, I love her so.
like the way my heart was beating. Oh, that special night you
This is on a G Cole.
eyes with mine.
Track called Imperfect People.
No, baby, we're from totally different worlds. Oh, yeah. But if only they could feel it, they would understand how much I love you, girl. Sometimes there's no rhyme or reason, no special sign from above. No special sign from above. We're just two imperfect people, yes, who fell perfectly in love. Never, 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 never will I break your heart. I won't ever cause you pain. Now, baby, let's just be those two links, baby, that will form that perfect shape.
I can tell you this right now.
I'm not
This is one of those tracks I absolutely love.
Nah, baby, ain't your mom's no fan of mine. Oh, oh, oh. Let's just do our thing and show the world our love can stand the test of time. Whoa, sometimes there's no rhyme or reason, no special sign from above. No special sign from above. We're just two imperfect people, yes, who fell perfectly in love. All that was perfection. Now who's gonna love me, baby? Love me like you do. I don't care what the world might say. You, my love, and I was meant for you. Sometimes there's no rhyme or reason, no special sign from above. We're just two imperfect people, yes, who fell perfectly in love. Beside every good man, there stands a greater woman.
This is Code Red
Know how good I am, but I'm sure
with lead at the time, Mr. Bobby Rose.
the time out to say you're appreciated.
Track called Unconditionally.
Happy without you in my life. Although I don't deserve you, you give me everything. You treat me like a king. I know sometimes I hurt you. You still give me love. Unconditionally. A night at the movies, candlelit dinner for two, cruise across the Caribbean, or a little quiet time, just me and you. Too often I've canceled these appointments, left you disappointed, broke your pretty little heart, but you never broke your commitment. Although I don't deserve you, you give me everything. You treat me like a king. I know sometimes I hurt you. You still give me love.
softness. Comfort me through all this madness.
This is Sadiki working out to the Twiggerific one. Twiggy.
I'm born
their rendition of With You I'm Born Again. Just love it.
Kevin Steele. Your sweetness. Now there's you. There is no weakness. Lying safe within your arms. I'm born again.
Oh, I was had not home instead with none.
Reaching through this world in need of one.
Show me your kindness. In your arms, I know I'll find that. Woman, don't you know with you I'm born again. Bring me your softness. Comfort me through all this madness. Woman, you should know with you I'm born again. Baby,
Come give me your sweetness. Now there's you. There is no weakness. Lying safe within your arms. I'm born again. I was left on hold
instead with none, reaching through this world in need of one. Show me your kindness. In your arms, I know I'll find rest. Woman, don't you know with you I'm born again. Lying safe with you, I'm born
This is that dynamic trio out of South Florida. Sensational dynamic sound, SDS. Shauna Dazzle, Suzanne Sultry, and Dottie. Their rendition of Woman in Love. Their former #1 in South Florida.
It's the same old story. You care, but you don't love me. And I know it still hurts to hear the truth. Don't expect me to forget you. I love you, and I can't hold back the love I want to give to you. I know it isn't easy. I understand you're leaving, and I'm happy
can't rise no more of your darkness.
This is Ed Robinson
No,
from the album Uncovers.
on my picture,
His rendition of Don't Let the Sun.
black and white.
Yeah, the one that says Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me. Yeah, that one.
I'm growing tired, and time stands still before me.
Want to thank you each and everyone for hanging out with me tonight, hanging out with me this week.
Frozen here,
Truly appreciate, love you.
the ladder of my life.
As we go out and close out this week
It's much too late.
and we move forward, I want to invite you to look out for members of your community. Your community is not a development that you live in, but it spreads far and wide. So whether you walk, ride, or drive, take the bus, the plane, the boat, or the train,
Change your way of life.
people that you pass along the way, these are members of your community. Do something good for one of them today, because you never know who's going to do something good for you tomorrow.
Miss Ray.
My name is DJ Kevin Stew, so I like to do it to you, for you, and with you every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday right here on the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew.
Close the door.
Remember, you can catch me on Saturday on Reggae Global Radio. It's for the Saturday Stew. But until then,
Don't let the sun
y'all be good.
on me, no.
If you can't be good,
I search my
be good at it.
It's always
And
something
I'm about to add some more tunes, but I just want to tell you all that to get it out the way.
of your life.
We only got what? 2 minutes left? Okay, 3.
But like losing everything, it's like the sun going down on me. On me, yeah, down on me, yeah. I can't find all the right romantic lines. No, no, but you see me once and see the way I feel. See the way I feel. Yeah. Don't discard me just because you think I mean you harm. Oh, no. But these cuts I had, oh, they need love to help me heal. Oh, don't let the sun go down on me, no. Although I search myself, it's always someone else I see. Just allow the fragment of your life to wander free. But like losing everything, it's like the sun going down on me, yeah. Don't let the sun go down on me, no.
Oh, when the sun goes down and the moon gets bright and everybody in for the night, me need some company to make the mood feel right. Someone to speak.
This is the one that I'm going to leave you with.
Me need an
This is the sound of King Charles.
good in our dress and one stairs is
It's called Still Searching.
access. Come and we take a ride, come and we drive out west. Are you
If y'all were looking for a broadcast to take you into the night or early morning, as the case may be, you don't need to search anymore. It's the night shift to DJ Kevin Stew.
I want her to be my girl. Oh,
This is where I bid you farewell. Y'all take care.
we rule the world. Come and take a break from the up and down. Come make me take a short tune Spanish town. Me are the king, so I you feel wear the second crown. Me I go pick your way up and when I come down. Hey, because I you me like and me I sit down and I pray to make you be wife. So do me right and make sure you be right. And me I tell you how me feel on a Tuesday night. Oh, oh. I'm still searching for true love. Someone who sent from above. I want her to be my girl. Oh,
Greetings and salutations. This is DJ Kevin Stew inviting you to bubble up and simmer down with me in the Saturday Stew right here on Reggae Global Radio. Get ready for the special segment called The Secret Ingredient, where you may hear from your favorite artist or producer. Saturday Stew happens every Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time exclusively on ReggaeGlobalRadio.com, where we get high on reggae.
Yes, my people, check out I Red Funks on Reggae Global Radio every Saturday at 8 p.m. with Kev Stew, where I'll give you a pre-life, brand new, good for you. Kick it like a ball if you don't say a dance song, you hear that?
Greetings and salutations, one and all. You're invited to tune in to the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. It airs on Mondays with Community and Finance, Tuesdays with Healthy Love, and Wednesdays with Real Talk from 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern Time. Come spend some time interacting in the stew pot where we keep things bubbling and wind down in musical therapy. The night shift with DJ Kevin Stew is on kevinstew.com, where you're encouraged to have acceptance through enlightenment.